Do you ever get that annoying notification using AI that you've reached your context limit or you're about to reach your context limit and this chat is too long and now you need to summarize, and before you know it, what you thought would take you 5 minutes is now taking you 25 minutes because you've started 7 different chats and you're like, I should have done this myself. If you're anything like me or my clients, you're probably having that problem, and today's video is going to solve that problem for you. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you money because more context means more money, and it's going to give you one single ultimate master prompt that replicates you right down to your tonality. It includes your avatar, it includes the way you write, it includes the guidelines you create for yourself and the rules you follow and the laws you apply to creating content in one prompt that you can copy paste whenever you want and get something that's 95 to 99% accurate to you, and then you can play around with it. So we're here in Claude, and as you can see, I tend to get this notification a lot. Again and again and again and again, and then it's annoying. Now, to give you a little bit of context, I have 4 files now attached to my Claude. One is my content creation guidelines, one is my avatar description, and one is 60 of my Facebook posts. And the original prompt is about 2,000 characters long, where I tell it who it is, what to do, how it needs to perform. And by the way, if you want any of the prompts I talk about today, they're all going to be linked down below. So the way this went was I'd start a new chat, I'd tell it what I wanted to do, it would make something for me, and then I'd have to attach a couple more things, refine a little bit more, and before you know it, boom, context window. Same thing. I'd start from the beginning about what I want to talk about, a little bit of refinement, and then boom, context window every time. And it got really annoying. Not just for me, for my clients as well. And so one day I wanted to test how much would it cost. And I used Typing Mind. And I went to Typing Mind and I put the prompt in called Perfect Post. It's about 2,000 characters. And I attached the training files, content guidelines, Facebook posts, avatar. And then I ran something and it blew my mind. I had spent $0.3 on one prompt to get one output. And it was ridiculous, meaning if I ran this 3 times, I'd be charged $1, which is ridiculous. And you can see the tokens that it's using. I used 107,000, about 108,000 tokens in 3 messages, which is ridiculous. And so something needed to change. I needed to fix things. I decided no more attaching the 3 big files that I attach because they're the ones that take the highest amount of context. And so I did it for myself a couple of months ago, and I'm going to walk you through every single step with what I did. So we've got version 1, which is all the attachments that it comes with. And so I jumped into GPT-01, the reasoning model. You can use DeepSeek R1, you can use Claude 3.5 Sonnet. And I said, I have a prompt that's really long, uses a lot of context window, and so very quickly I get charged for the API. I'm looking to shorten the prompt. The background of the prompt, it's a prompt designed to make Claude create Facebook posts or LinkedIn posts based off my style. The prompt has 3 files that I attach. One of them is a tiny file with 541 characters about the avatar, shortest one. One of them is content creation guidelines, which is about 1,500 characters. And the biggest one is 50 plus. This is 50 plus of my Facebook posts. And this is the most important attachment because this is what teaches the AI how I think, how I type, how I write, how I tend to express myself in written copy. And so this gives the tonality, but this takes 33.3 thousand tokens, which is ridiculous. Can we shorten it? How should we do it? GPT says you can feed me the scripts. GPT says we can do this one by one. We can summarize, which I don't want to do. I instead want to create an exhaustive, robust, comprehensive prompt that captures all the examples from my stuff. So GPT or Claude don't need to invent or create or think of new things. Instead, they stick to what I tell them. And so the first step is let's talk about the biggest thing, which is the Facebook posts. Can you shorten them, create a document that captures everything about me? This is important. References posts, but it's significantly shorter, but still allows you to recreate my style. And then it says, start chunking the posts. And then it says, yes, I'll do that. I'll create an outline of a final style guide for you. And then it says, all right, start giving me the posts. So chunk 1, I basically take the 50 plus and I've chunked them down into, I believe, like 5 or 6 chunks of 10 pieces of content each. Scroll. Chunk 5, chunk 6. So chunk 6, I think this is the last one. And then I prompted, now that we're done with the posts, I would like for you to make a style guide. And I want you to err on the side of caution. This is an important thing. Err on the side of caution, meaning I would rather have you keep it longer than shorter. because GPT has a tendency to summarize. And I know that the end objective is to make it short, but I'd rather have a longer style guide so as not to lose the accuracy and the post not sounding like it was not written by me. Please go ahead and create one. It starts to create a style guide and it gives me something to go off of. Now, when we get to the bottom, we want to start including the next thing. So, okay, now that we have a comprehensive style guide in place, I'm going to share with you the prompt that we're working on. And I want you to incorporate the style guide into the prompt. So we no longer need to say, refer to Facebook post for guidance on how to write like me. And then I teach it version 1 of my prompt, and then it gets cracking. Now, once it does that, I'm like, cool, that's done. Now I'm going to share with you the content creation guidelines, and I want you to incorporate them into the final prompt. And then I give it my guidelines, which then, of course, it incorporates furthermore. And finally, we get to, all right, now that we're done with this, I'm going to feed you the third thing, which is the last document, which is the record breaker client avatar. And I want you to incorporate that in the prompt as well and create one prompt that's super comprehensive, includes the style guide, anything that's been added to the style guide from the creation guidelines, as well as the avatar, meaning we've given it 3 files to work off of. There's a 4th one, but I'll get to that. It creates something now, ultimate all-inclusive prompt for Facebook post creation, comprehensive master style guide, typical structure, signature elements, guidelines, the things that I follow, rule of 3, using pictures, all of that. The avatar, how to create the post, how to go about it, the final deliverable examples and instructions. But when I review this, I found out that it's missing the depth of the style guide. And that's not GPT's fault, because that's what GPT does. It summarizes everything and it loses what makes you, you. And that's why a lot of people's content does sound like AI, because you can tell, because it's very surface level GPT-ish stuff. So I'm like, no, go back. I'm pasting the style guide below. Please incorporate that style guide and keep it as comprehensive with examples as possible. Here's the master style guide again. And we give the whole thing to it. It gets cracking. And then it makes something called the ultimate all-inclusive prompt for Facebook. Gives me another prompt. And I'm just walking you through my workflow right now. I've got all the prompts separately. And we're checking, it's giving more. But we're nowhere nearly done, because I know GPT's capabilities. What we've done so far, just to recap, is we've done prompt 1, prompt 2, prompt 3, prompt 4. Now we've done with the post. I'd like you to make a style guide. Then we incorporated the style guide in the master prompt. Then we incorporated the content guidelines in the master prompt. Then we incorporated the client avatar. Then we were at troubleshooting, and this is important. You want to make sure that you check all the things. Now we move to the logic check with Claude. So we're going to check one AI's logic with another AI's logic. And this is fun. I'm like, cool. I have a prompt that's really long, uses a lot of context, blah, 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 blah. I'm looking to shorten the prompt. The background of the prompt, it's a prompt that's designed to make Claude create Facebook posts. Now the prompt has 3 files that I attach. One of them is a tiny, I give it the basic details. Can I shorten? Basically the same prompt. Then I tell it, so I've worked with GPT. And I fed it all 50 files. Then I fed it content and avatar. And I have a master prompt that will create content sounds like me. I'm going to share that master prompt with you. I would like for you to analyze it and tell me if it'll do the job or if it needs to be better. This is very important. Can it be shorter? Should it be longer? Give me your honest thoughts. Here's the prompt. I give it the prompt. Claude gets cracking. Now, I have to give it more context. So I'm like, once I have this prompt ready, I don't plan on attaching any examples in the attachments. Keeping that in mind, should we leave the example style snippets as they are? Should we add to them? And so on and so forth. And then, obviously it gave me a bunch of things about redundancy, reduction. Many sections had overlap. I'm like, sure, we had overlap, but I'd rather have overlap than miss something. And I give it my custom prompts. The don't section can be integrated, final takeaways. Like, you're going to have to be a little smarter, and you're going to have to use your gray matter to make sure that the AI gets it right. And then I move ahead with Claude, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not going to have the client avatar. So I'm essentially doing the 3 things I did with GPT now with Claude and cross-referencing everything. It's not going to have the avatar. I'm not going to have an attachment of an example post. It's not going to have an attachment of guidelines. So keeping that in mind, is this perfect the way it is? Or do we need to expand on certain parts? The end goal is to perfectly, accurately capture me and my style, my personality, my themes, my examples from my stuff, create content like me, references things just from my life and my past, and is an extension of me. And then Claude gets cracking and starts creates something pretty interesting, a voice style. It says the caps I use, the stories I've been through, the car accident I've had, the corporate betrayal I've had, kids, father, very specific things to me. Content examples, the sort of hooks I tend to create, the story examples I tend to share, the themes, the messaging, so on and so forth. That's not it. I'm like, one more question. Would you like me to attach and give you the 50 posts so that you can take even more examples and more? So what I'm looking for is robustness. And so when we come here to the logic check, what you want to run through is a bunch of sequences, meaning you want first have a logic check. You want to make the corrections that you had. Now we're at the comprehensiveness part. We're trying to make it as comprehensive as possible. And it's like, yes, please give me the stuff. Now I take all of those and I feed it to Claude. And it adds even more stuff. So it enhances the prompt and gives it even more things to work with. Then I'm like, yes, expand all areas, more specific variations from my posts, personal stories, dive deeper into my frameworks, as well as an exhaustive list of all the examples, more examples of my phrasing, terminology, do all of them. I'm pretty generous with my whole thing. And so as you can see, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Then it says the prompt now captures over 20 hook variations, 15 plus personal stories, 5 major frameworks that I use and teach, 25 plus unique phrases and terms, 3 detailed post structures, 50 plus specific formatting rules and guidelines. Now we're getting somewhere. And it says, would you like me to add more? I'm like, yes, add more. Please add more story examples, add more unique phrases and terminology. Also, as a final instruction, please extract everything you possibly can. This is an important prompt. Extract everything you possibly can to put it in the prompt so we don't have to rely on this document anymore. And then it creates something that clearly is very all-encompassing, amazing way to work. And I was clearly very happy. This is fantastic. And then I say, now I want you to take this and insert this into the prompt that I originally shared with you to make one comprehensive, detailed master prompt that doesn't require the attachment of Facebook posts, it doesn't require the attachment of content creation guidelines, and it doesn't require the attachment of the client avatar. Please provide an output that I can copy and paste directly. We get that done. So it provides me that. So robustness, so comprehensiveness, robustness, we just expanded. Now we're going to do the second logic check. We're going to ask it, are you sure? And so I want you to think like a master viral content creator and tell me if you were in my place and you were using this prompt with Claude AI, would you be happy with the way it is, or would you like to include anything else? And then it says, well, there's a couple more things that we can do. As you can see, this is very much like a human being. And so it says we can do emotional triggers, we can do enhanced hook formulas. I'm like, yep, please do 1 to 5, but leave out point 2. Let's see what point 2 is. Content timing strategy. We could add guidance on best. And no, I don't do that. I don't need to do that from my prompt. And then I even went, because I see a lot of people saying things like, you are a master AI creator, you are a master blah, blah, blah. I'm like, do I really need to do that? And it's like, yes, you can do this. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we have the ultimate prompt, which is version 2. Let me jump into my AI agents to show you what Perfect Post version 2 is. So from 2,000 characters, we went to 15,000 characters. And it's big, but as you can see, it's very huge. But as you can see, this is me, and there's no training files, meaning I have nothing to attach. So actually from 32,000 characters in the Facebook posts alone, plus the 2,000 of the prompt, which is 34,000, plus let's say another 2,000 for the content creation guidelines, for the avatar description, as well as the words to avoid, because it's very important that you attach the words to avoid. Otherwise, AI will use words that are AI words, and then everybody's going to be watching your content knowing that you used AI to make it. We shrank that about 36,000 character prompt to half its value. But most importantly, now all I need to do is give it one prompt. And even more importantly, not only did we halve the cost, but we now created a copy-pastable prompt that even someone who's on the free version can easily just copy-paste every single time. They don't need to attach anything. They won't run into context window problems. And most importantly, it goes from about 70% accuracy that it previously was at to about 95% accuracy. I barely need to spend more than 5 minutes now in fine-tuning and tweaking the virtual AI agent version of myself that I've built. So I hope this helps you. As always, all the prompts are linked down below. Leave me a comment and let me know, what area do you tend to use AI the most in your process? I'm out of here. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.